You're listening to the Positivity Hour podcast, hosted by Darshaun Smith. Strap in and buckle up, and let's get straight into it. This podcast episode will be all over the place today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to lie to you. Feel free to skip this if you're not into a hot mess of a Darshaun. But I said some things that needed to be said, so watch if you want to listen, I guess. See you around. Hello. Episode 206 of the Positivity Hour podcast, and it is, as you'll see if I flip my camera, 1:32 a.m. on a Sunday morning, and I find myself not being able to sleep. I want to be pretty frank, pretty open, pretty honest with how I feel about things right now. Obviously, I'm not going to go jump off a cliff, okay, get the worst out of your mind, but in a time of which I have a lot on my plate, a lot to work on in terms of content I've just captured today, not to mention a large event I have to capture content for tomorrow. It has left me in a place of feeling like I do not have enough time to manage. And in the midst of all of this, I've found myself in particularly watching a show on Netflix. And at first, I was I don't want to say like cross with myself. I think that's a little crude. But if I am to show you my screen as well, I can actually just show you the show here.
It would help if
not Crown. This show, Victoria, right here. Okay. Well, I didn't mean to watch an episode. Long story short, y'all, I've gone from season 1 to about season 3 in a grand total of a day. And obviously, in my position, I do not have the time normally to binge watch 50-plus minute episodes of a Netflix series, especially about a British monarch in which, if you know me in real life, I have no taste for the British monarchy, in particularly because I like being an American, and I understand that we don't have kings and queens over here, 1, and 2, the people who may not have liked the people who look like me started this country to escape the whatever that was going on, over there on that little island they call the United Kingdom, a.k.a. Scotland and Wales and England, in particularly the British Isle, or Isles, but particularly that one. That doesn't matter. The reason why I bring all of that up, though, is because I, like I was saying earlier, felt a little bit out of impasse, okay, that I did not deserve, air quotes some would say, to be binge watching a show when not only do I have work to do, but, there are goals to achieve and, progress to be made, not only in my current endeavors, but, towards future endeavors, future accomplishments and, places of inhabitant and, kids, families, all of this. And a revelation I had in the last 30 minutes, so about at 1 a.m., was that something I found most interesting about this show in particular, and the reason why I've watched it so faithfully over the last few days, and it has taken up so much of my time, is because the storytelling in this show is quite amazing. There is a saying that I often use, once again, if you know me in real life, we've definitely talked about this. Be so awe-inspiring, it is discouraging. And this show, for some odd reason, and I don't think the reason is odd at all, so I have misspoken, but for a reason that I am still to figure out, is so awe-inspiring, it is discouraging. It is not only discouraging to me in my own endeavors of capturing moments and telling stories and all of this and more, but it is just it makes you think, what I'm saying? Like when you see, yes, a idealized, depiction of
wealthy people on the other side of the world, you know what I'm saying? But it makes you think, you know what I'm saying? I don't come from much, you know what I'm saying? And I obviously work really hard to have the things I have today, and I have some aspirations to, go far and achieve some things in this world. But, the mixture between that show, which I intend to finish within the next day or two. I don't know if I will have the time tomorrow because I will have almost 10,000 photos to edit and in a further insurmountable amount of video that also needs to be edited like this podcast in a short amount of time. Um but I say all that to say, in this little stream of consciousness that will be your 206th episode of the Positivity Hour, that I'm glad I've spent my time doing this. You know what I'm saying? I don't say the be so awe-inspiring, it's discouraging lightly. I don't say this show has demonstrated yet again a person who I'm gonna find their name. Let me switch screens so we can do this in real time, gang. Who directed the? I guess it's just Victoria. All right, Victoria. What, Netflix? I don't want to know who played Victoria, but whatever. It'll get us close, okay? Um, the cast. I think his name is Jim. Something like that. Yeah, here's Netflix's original or the actual post. I don't want to know who the cast is. La di da di do da day. Okay, I will do this in the background. I'm one taking this, so we're leaving this in. Subpar episode today. You're just gonna have to live with it. I'm gonna figure this out though. Who is the director of Victoria on Netflix? Because it is important to the story. I was all the way off. I think Jim is the executive producer, but it is a individual named Nadia Halgren. Halgren, I think that's how you pronounce that, right? And this is what this woman looks like. Actually, she black. Wise I am. Wouldn't have expected it. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. She's from Bronx, the Bronx, New York. Yes, yes, quite, yes, quite, yes. Okay. Wow, that's amazing. To Nadia, I guess this is to you. Nadia is yet another example of a person who I've come across this year, and really since I've been trying to take my life more seriously, of a person who has done something that is so awe-inspiring, it is discouraging. Mr. Beast is another example of someone who is so awe-inspiring, it is discouraging. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I think about, people in my own life, even my mom, like some of the things like she has done, to get me this far in life. And even, my dad and other relatives, my brother, just all of these people that mean so much to me. They all have their own characteristic of their own moment where they've done something or sacrificed so much or, just really put it all on the line. And it's so awe-inspiring. It is simply discouraging. And I guess I should finally say this as well, that I don't say so awe-inspiring, it's discouraging, like, oh, I'm just going to give up on my dreams and just never, live again to, make anything of myself and achieve these dreams, goals, and aspirations, or renovate my house or achieve these and purchase the dream cars or have the kids or the wife and the picket fence and all of that. It's just, it makes you think. And I think that's the biggest thing I wanted to get across here. And when I came to this realization yet again, when I was watching, what's her name? Nadia Halgren. I'm not sure if you can see this because my screen was kind of big right there. It says Victoria Buckingham. Maybe Nadia did not do this. I don't know. but her picture's kind of next to the. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But we're just gonna go with it. Um, when I came to this realization, I was going to do this as I was to edit some of these photos I had to go through today. You know, the 4,068 that are right here. You know, some, and it I'm at a loss for words. You know what I'm saying? That, like I said, never before I've just found myself in a moment where it's like I want to take my time. You know what I'm saying? And I guess in this case, you know, now that I'm just rambling and everything I'm saying is really just coming off the dome. You know, previously I've obviously the first like 5 minutes of this I had thought about those words, but we're just freestyling, we're spitballing now. Um, that I just quality speed matters, yes, but I am at a point where quality is something I need to move forward to the next stage in my progression, in my personal endeavors and my business affairs. You know, whether that's the content I make or the photos I capture or the hands I shake and the conversations I have behind the scenes. You know, the business that is to be talked about, and like I said, even in my personal endeavors. You know, quality workouts, quality conversations with, you know, folks that are actually interested in communicating with myself, and I think that's it's something I've really put on the back burner. It's something I've never really prided myself with, or never really made a priority for myself, I must say. This little word called quality. I guess to keep with the true Darshaun Smith fashion of this podcast, I shall define this word for you as well. Let me go back to Google. Quality, okay? I can type in front of the camera. Let me make sure I'm not blocking it too hard here. Yeah, we're good. Quality. The standard of something as measured against other things of a similar kind. The degree of excellence of something is the first definition. Another one is a distinct attribute or characteristic possessed by someone or something. And, you know, just because I love and appreciate you so much, here's the rest of the data. It comes from Latin and Greek and Old French, and now we're here. It's been used a lot in the last 75 years in particular. But back to the point at hand. Going forward, I guess, I've said this to my friend Blue Esposito. Blue, if you see this, love and appreciate you. Thank you for letting me have conversations like this where I just ramble and spitball ideas out. And this is something I had expressed to my friend Blue, that I just wish to be unapologetically myself, yes, because that is the most important aspect of my brands, the Positivity God, Out with Cameras, you know, and obviously Darshaun Smith Productions, as well as myself being Darshaun Romel Smith. There's no one I'd rather be. You know what I'm saying? I would be no other person, live no other life, and I have no desires to trade places or do anything different or I don't look to others and be like, "Oh, I wish I had that," or "I wish I." No, I'm grateful everything has happened exactly how it has happened. I would not change one thing. But the thing, how I want to write my story going forward was I simply, and this is something I guess for 2026. I simply want to be so awe-inspiring, it is discouraging. Because when I watch a movie like Django from Quentin Tarantino, that movie is so awe-inspiring, it is discouraging. when I watch a Mr. Beast video, I don't care about what he is talking about, or his video today where he was saying how he put 100 pilots on a private jet and the last one to leave gets to keep it. I don't care. But the fact that it has done, we'll look at the data right now. You know what I'm saying? Oh Lord, maybe if I type, we'll get somewhere. Mr. Beast, am I still recording? All right, we're still recording. Right here, the fact that this video, not to mention he has 453 million subscribers in less than 1,000 videos, but his video has done 26 million views in 14 hours. I don't even care about the contents of the videos, but the fact that he is able to garner this much attention from his target audience to further sell and monetize is so awe-inspiring. It is discouraging. When I think about this TV show I've been binge watching these last few days, Victoria, and I think about the British monarchy as a whole, and just monarchies even more so, or just folks in leadership, and what they have to do or what they had to do, or the life they have compared to mine. It is so awe-inspiring. It is discouraging. And above all else, to really drive the point home, the show itself is so awe-inspiring. It is discouraging. All I say to myself when I watch that show is, this is beautiful storytelling. And I myself, as a storyteller and a person who wishes to help other people tell stories to the best of their abilities to achieve their particular goals, take a very great bit of interest in this matter. And like I had mentioned earlier, on the one hand, I find this very troubling because I am watching in awe at other people doing what I want to do, not being able to do that thing myself. It is so awe-inspiring. It is discouraging. But if we look at this other perspective over here, the potential for me to truly reach some semblance or some level of, I can also do that. If I master the skill, if I but sacrifice the time needed to truly and genuinely master the skill of, in this case, storytelling, I as well can be so awe-inspiring. It is discouraging. And this is something that has just really been on my mind as of late. And when I watched Victoria, and in one scene in particular, it made me cry. A lot of things make me cry, actually. I must say, I'll put that into the world, because I don't have any macho-ness left in me, where it's like, men have to be this or that. It's like, no, I'm in an era of my life where I'll make up my own goddamn mind, okay? And the one thing I've made up is, yes, a man's got to be strong and all that, but the one beautiful thing about being emotionally available is it allows you to feel things, you know what I'm saying? And as you know, in 2023 and into 2024, I took a great deal of time coming to terms with some things in my past and some experiences I had that had really closed me off from the world, emotionally speaking, at least. And all of the damage that had caused, and lost friendships and bridges, I won't say burned, but, maybe shot with a cannon and blown up, that have to be rebuilt still, if even that is possible. Maybe the river is raging a little too hard right now to rebuild some of those bridges. But making it to that other side of being emotionally available has really just made me understand, I've been saying this whole podcast, this whole stream of consciousness at 1:52 a.m. on December 7th, 2025, in my house in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. That I will be so awe-inspiring that it is discouraging to other people. I will look at this video one day and I will show you this picture because it'll better illustrate. It's the Rubik's Cube boy and man, like looking in the mirror is the best way to describe it. I don't know if the actual like meme will be here. I cannot seem to find it, but if I do, I will bring it up in another episode. But I remember so vividly seeing this as a younger person. In my teens, I was probably 15. One of the most pivotal moments of my life. And as I grow and develop and my life continues to circle over the same topics. I forget what this concept is called, but I know this to be true because it is my own lived experience where everything you experience in life, you're just spinning the block again. You're experiencing the same death, guilt, survivor's remorse, happiness, joy, whatever it is. It's the same thing, just a different name. Same thing, a different location. Same thing, different mindset. Same thing, different perspective. And how you want to look on it is obviously dependent upon the time you're in. And this graphic of a young boy with the head of a scrambled Rubik's Cube is how I feel right now. I won't say I feel lost because I have a great bit of direction in my life. I know what is to be done. I know what work needs to be done. I just need to make the sacrifices and do what is necessary to elevate myself from just a normal person to someone who is so awe-inspiring. It is discouraging. And I've found that making that jump is being the older man Rubik's Cube head, looking back at a picture of his younger self, looking in the mirror where that Rubik's Cube is actually solved now, saying, I don't remember what he said, so I'm just going to paraphrase what I think he said. If only I knew, or something like that, or if I had given myself more time to figure it out, or not put so much pressure on myself to see success, at such a young age, not knowing that, one, it is not my lot in life. I didn't draw that straw to be one of those, super young and successful 24-year-olds that are, multi millionaires and titans of industry and all of this, even like my own brother. You know what I'm saying? But I do still have potential. And I remember saying this from a very young age. And I'm having one of those moments right now where I'm looking back at content I was making in 2015 when I was 14 as that man with the Rubik's Cube head that has been fully solved, just saying, if only I knew that it does not seem like I have come far in life. Granted, much has much changed, no. But so much has as well. And I've figured out a lot. And that is to great help of the people around me, friends, family, parents, strangers. This show I've been talking about, Victoria, Mr. Beast, Alex Ramosi, Cody Sanchez, Christo, all of these great people, Jamie Foxx, Leonardo DiCaprio, Shakespeare, I can name endless people who are even Donald Trump, gang. Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, all of these people. These people have done something so special that so few have done. They have reached the club of being so awe-inspiring. It is discouraging. Y'all, I'm not going to lie. I don't know if I can continue to do this podcast weekly. I do not know if I have the time for it going forward after this year. But I will say that in the now 50th, and I'll show you this as well. It may be a little hard. I may need to move my screen. Yeah, you should be able to see it now. In the Oh, no, you still can't see it. Yeah. And the now, as you can see here, if you're even if you still are here, I don't care if you're not. This is largely an episode for myself, and so I can cry about this in my Rolls Royce Cullinan in 10 years about, the the hard work that I knew I was going to do after this day to achieve my goals like I've always wanted to do. I made a goal at the start of this year, coming out of a period of time where I had secluded myself from the world so I could fix my mind, as I would say. And because of that, I, like I said earlier, burnt a lot of bridges and lost a lot of people that meant a whole lot to me. And one of those things to feel seen and also dedicate myself to something that I felt was bigger than me was to do this podcast at least 52 times this year. Once a week, posting at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time or Central Daylight Time. I learned that was the thing today. Or not today, but last month. And maybe 2 months ago at this rate. Whatever, not important to the story. And I am pleased to say that I intend to do this podcast for 2 more fucking weeks, okay? So, best believe, after that, I make no guarantees. Because I understand that to get to where I need to get to, I need to focus up. I need to genuinely eat better. I need to exercise better. I need to have the pleasure of better company. I need to speak up, and I need to listen. I need to work hard, and I also need to live life. I need to intake information from people who are so awe-inspiring. It is discouraging. And I also need to make content that I feel is so inspiring. It is discouraging to others. I almost cried on saying some of this today. I ain't gonna lie to you. I am but just a young, impressionable man talking to himself at 2 a.m. in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, of all places. 28 minutes into a video that no one's going to watch. I'm not even going to make podcast clips for this. I'm going to just put my intro and outro on this and upload it to YouTube and Spotify because I have work to do. So I feel as a great weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Literally, as I'm saying this now, I feel a little lighter, And I've been going to the gym consistently. I told myself at least 2 to 3 times a week minimum to get back into the swing of things. And I remember the second time I went to the gym this week that when my heart rate was, when my heart rate was elevated around 150 beats per minute, the song I had made with this mic and with this laptop felt really slow. And I had for a moment remembered what it was like when I was about 17 years old, and I was really, really hitting my stride, figuring some things out, figuring out who I was as a person. And everything seemed to slow down. I was like, you may have heard athletes say that, things just slow down when you're in the moment, And it was one of those moments where this song that was a fast, 200 plus beats per minute was feeling like a cool, 75. Everything was moving in slow motion, and in that moment, I just knew I had to make this reality in business. Make this reality, this realization that I am experiencing now in my personal affairs. And I will accept nothing less. So going forward, as I look at myself on the screen and I look at you in the camera, I, Darshaun Romel Smith, a.k.a. the Positivity God, also known as Darshaun Smith Productions, the CEO, head of content creation, photographer, videographer, designer of clothes and designs, I, a homeowner, I, Darshaun Smith, a owner of 2 vehicles. I, Darshaun Smith, a person with aspirations to be rich in a land that is not free. Both in terms of financials and in terms of life, the family I keep, the company I have around me, I intend to make that so. And it starts not at the new year, but today. It had started at the start of this year. And this journey I have set myself on has been much worth it, I must say. So, I don't know. I like I said, I could keep rambling. I have more to say, but I'll leave it at that. I've rambled for 32 minutes now. So, I feel as this has been lifted from my spirits, and I will gladly be able to sleep knowing that I feel as I've done the right thing, being that I understand what needs to be done. I have plans on how to do it, and most importantly, I am, in today's realization, I have figured out how to sacrifice the time needed to truly lock in and be so awe-inspiring. It is discouraging. Thank you for your time if you made it today, and into future Darshaun that will listen to this in a few days. Don't cry too much. And I love and appreciate you. Genuinely. Like, I don't pat myself on the back enough. And I'm crying now, to be honest with you. And you got this, man. Y'all thought I was capping. These are real tears, gang. Oh, my God.
I'm in my G'd up zone. I'm about to get it in, kick your feet up, home. Days turn to weeks when you're always on the grind all night. I got my re-up back. I'm about to get it in, I'll be right back.
Nate, high lows to those who don't know the name. And G'd up, yup, that's the only thing I claim.